Smells good. My mouth is dying. Say, get up in here, hurry. Hi, I'm Frank Brown, here today with another episode of Local Flavor. I'm here with Jerry Harrison today, and she's going to bring in one of her family recipes that you all be delighted to hear about.
Okay, today we're going to prepare one of the oldest recipes in my family. And I think it's old because it's more than my mom made it, my grandmom probably did that. Whenever cans came into existence, that's probably when this recipe began. So what we're going to do is very, very fast. You always got to start with a meat for this recipe, and it is called one skillet meal. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to brown the hamburger meat. And by the time you get the hamburger meat ready, we're going to have everything else open, and we're going to tell you what it takes to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is brown 1 pound of hamburger meat, and we will get that. So Frank, can we find that hamburger meat?
Right here. Grab it for you. And that skillet looks great.
This is a wonderful skillet. This skillet has a story behind it. It probably was my grandmom's skillet. I know it was my mom's skillet, and she passed it on to me, but you cannot find a good iron skillet anymore, so you keep what you have. Absolutely. So we're going to brown this hamburger meat, and that will be the first ingredient of our casserole. So this one has been in my family for such a long time. You may have to help me with this. All the way around and start here.
Now
This modern technology is something, isn't it? Hey. So while we do this, it'll take just a little while. I'm going to tell you what else we have to put into this casserole. It's a very, very fast casserole, and that means that if you're tired and you want to have a meal in one plate, then you can just start thinking of what would be a great thing to use. So what we decided years and years ago, that we would have a can of pinto beans, and we do have pinto beans, whole kernel corn, 1 can, and we do have, it takes 1 can of pinto beans, 1 can of whole kernel corn, and 1 can of tomato soup. What we know is that if you know anything about a balanced meal, you need proteins, you need vitamins, and we got tomato soup and corn, and of course pinto beans is a good protein too, but we have our meat here for proteins, and you need some calcium in it. We're going to put a little milk and cheese, so we're going to have to get some cheese.
Sounds good to me.
1 cup of cheese. But first, what we have to do here is try to get this brown. And you know, a long time ago, people said the best way to brown your meat was to put it in a little boiling water.
Right.
I don't like that method. How about you?
Me neither.
So it takes all the flavor out of it. So with this here,
I love the look of your mama's skillet there.
oh now, my
That
mama.
thing is patina is something else.
Yes, and I mean, if anything in my house you probably could have, but you cannot have this skillet.
Amen.
So you know how to care for one? Ever thought about how you care for these skillets? Because you just can't throw it around.
Now you got to be careful, and you got to put a little oil on it every time. After you rinse it out, you definitely don't want to put bleach on it and starch it out.
And you definitely don't want to put it in dishwater. So you just use a little hot water, get the water as hot as you can, get something to scrape out what's in it, and put a little oil when you get finished, and store it, because it is iron and it will corrode, and that you don't want it to rust.
That puppy right there is never going to rust. That thing is probably cooked 10,000
You know
meals.
what? I think I use it every day almost. The stories behind this skillet. Now, of course, everything didn't turn out wonderful. I'm sure it has a lot of burning stories in it too. Because
Got to test drive it.
yeah, in my family, there were 5 girls, and I was the oldest of the 5 girls, so I was the one that's supposed to cook. You know, so sometimes I did it with a good heart. Other times, you know, I'm just going to see how I could mess it up and see who would eat it. Maybe they wouldn't ask me next time to cook. But we learned, I can remember when I was about 10 years old, that was my first biscuits. And my daddy put me in there to fix those biscuits, and they looked sad. My brother, first time, they threw them against the wall to see how far they, could they bounce back, would they just break the wall, you know. But You learn through experience, you know. So now this is about ready, and what we're going to do with this, we're going to drain it because we don't want to give you any more fat than you need. So I could
use a little attention.
Okay, we're going to drain this, and the best way to drain this, I do have a colander here, and we don't want to put it down the sink. Yeah, let's put this in there and just kind of pour it in there. That's a little warm.
Yep, we got a rag right here.
Yeah. Probably take all your muscles to kind of drain that over there.
I want to help you.
Let me see. I'm going to take this and, yeah, we're going to try to drain all that in there. And you know, you can. Nice. Yes, it did. And this is, if we can get.
You're going to keep on cooking it a little bit.
Yes, we're going to put it back on. And one good thing about this is that once you get it all in, okay, now if you can put that back on there, I'm going to empty this.
That smells great.
Well, you know, hamburger meat is one of the meats that you can almost use with anything. You name it, you can put it in there. So that works for me. Now, all that we have to do now is add all the other ingredients, and that's the can of pinto beans, the can of corn, the can of tomato soup, and we need a little milk. And we're going to see if we can get these open right quickly.
Now tell me, do you put salt and pepper?
No, we're not going to put any salt and pepper. Tell you what, because the sodium in these cans, plenty. And start shopping for cans that don't have as much sodium in it. That's my thing now. That didn't open all the way.
There's a little knife over there.
Okay, let's see if it'll pop out. And I tell you what, do you see that thick sauce on it? We don't want that. We're going to rinse that off. So we hold it under the sink here, and we got this colander here. Don't let me wet you all up. I'm good at that.
Nope.
And we're just going to pour that over in there because you don't need any more.
You don't need all the starch.
You don't need all that starch, and plus the beans will taste better if you take the sauce from them.
Yeah, it won't flavor. All the flavors will mix together that way.
Yeah, I tell you what I need.
Pan?
Yeah, I do, and I need probably a spoon to get the rest of these beans out. You are just such an assistant.
Hey,
I tell you, I bet you help your mom sometime. You just don't want to tell me, do you?
I do. I love the kitchen.
All right, there you go. And we're just going to make sure we got all that. Can we pour that out? Okay, let's take this here. We don't want to mess the kitchen up. Okay, we're going to put that in there. Put this back over there. All right, can we cut that down just a little?
Yeah, that trims it down.
Yeah, we want it down just a little because we just need to get this hot. I'm going to let you empty this tomato soup in there while I am opening another can. Because we don't. A spoon right here is right.
Sorry, it looks good to me.
You think it'll come out?
I'll work.
Well, work on it. Make sure you may be able to use the wooden. I'm going to take the corn.
Yeah, we're looking forward to everybody in the area sending us their family recipe. The older, the better.
Yes.
And we want to hear the story. What is the story and how
I'm going to drain this.
Recipe? And over time, we're going to compile the recipe book. And unless it's a top secret recipe you don't want to give away, it could be infinitely famous here in Kingsport and parts all around Bays Mountain.
I'm going to get some milk. You put just a little milk in there so that it won't get too thick because it's going to have to cook long enough to cook your biscuits. Just 1/4 cup of milk will do it. And you just kind of pour that over and then maybe we may have to turn it up just a little. We want to keep it hot. We don't want to cook it, it's already done. You know why we need it warm? So that when you put the biscuits on, it won't take but a little while to cook the biscuits. I remember once I prepared this dish and put it in the refrigerator and took it out the next morning and put the biscuits on it. Oh, the biscuit browned beautifully, but guess what? biscuits were not done underneath. And when we cut into it, we had dough biscuits. So you always need to make sure that you do not put biscuits on the cold casserole. Now I'm going to get the cheese. You put 1 cup of cheese in, and see, we're almost finished. This is it for the casserole. I'm going to put 1 cup of cheese, and I'm just going to kind of pour it in there. I don't want to. Well, you can hold it over here because you know if it fall out, it's okay. More cheese, the better. All right, now dump that over in there.
1 cup.
1 cup. And see, that's all it takes for that. We finished with that. Now we got to do the biscuits. Now you take that and you stir that, and I'm going to put this up. And we're ready to handle the biscuits. Now, this is such an old recipe. We've gone from the rolling out biscuits that you put on top, you know, from scratch, to the canned biscuits, and all the way to the frozen one. Because with the frozen one, you can kind of control how much you want to put in, because you can split them. Here, but you know, some people like a lot of biscuits. What's so good about these things here? You know, sometimes you hit them just right and just bam. Hey, you have to be good. You got to be good. Got to be good. And I have had some. You try to open them up and they wouldn't open. All right, now we're going to put this here. We need to take some margarine and melt it, and we're going to do that in. I'm sure we have a bowl here that we can do that in. Because can we use the microwave there for a moment?
Absolutely.
Wait, all right. Such conveniences, I tell you.
Now, this is a great new kitchen here downtown.
Love this kitchen.
And it is a beautiful place.
Yes, it is. Make you want to cook yourself away from here. Just keep right on cooking. Wake up through the night and cook.
That's it.
And I tell you what, I'm just gonna melt the whole stick. And what we don't use, we'll think of another use for it, okay?
Yeah, I think it probably won't be an issue.
Now, I'm sure you got low fat, right?
Yeah, low fat.
That's the only thing. We want to eat healthy. That's the whole ball game. And you know, you can almost eat anything you want as long as you remember the proportions.
Yeah, moderation.
Moderation, you're right, and how you prepare it, you know?
Now you tell me, is that right?
That's perfect right there. That's perfect. All we got to do now is make our little coating for our biscuits. Now, the rest of the recipe says, and you know, we're talking through this, but it can take you 5 minutes to do this whole.
Right.
How fast do you think you can cook hamburger meat?
Yeah, pretty snappy.
Pretty snappy. 5 minutes. By the time your hamburger meat is ready, you 2 minutes to dump everything in there, and how long take your biscuits to get done? Dump your biscuits on top of it. You got dinner. And I'm going to tell you, when we were growing up, when we would cook this all the time, you had to have coleslaw with it. Right. It was not a meal if you didn't have coleslaw. Although you got a whole meal right there, you had to have coleslaw. And you had to have canned peaches. Now, don't ask me why the peaches, but I think we started that menu. And when we would go home, I mean, we're all grown now. Are we gonna have that casserole? But you didn't do the peaches. Gotta go get the peaches. We had to have peaches and coleslaw, so that's the meal. All right, now I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do with this cornmeal. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put just enough in here. Use just a half a cup or a cup. You know, just sprinkle a little cornmeal in there. And did I hear my microwave stop? So we are ready. And this is the fun part. This is when you can get the kids all involved, you know. You take these biscuits and
playing the food.
Yeah, you just take one out at a time and see, these are those big biscuits. You just kind of tap it one on side, then you place it here.
Give them a little bath.
Yeah, give them a little coating, and believe it or not, and you just place it right there. Now, if you're a big biscuit eater, you just put them as close as you want to. Don't pile them on top of each other now, but you just put them as close as you want. And see, the little kids can do this, and they just think, oh, I help mom cook, I help grandma cook, and they'll eat more of it when they think they have their fingers in it. So, and you see how bubbly that is? That means that it won't take you very long to cook.
You're going to put this in the oven?
Yes, it goes in the oven as soon as these biscuits are baked.
What are you going to cook it on? What temperature?
350. Now, if you like it, if you're running out of time, put on 375. You're good. Just watch it a little bit.
Oh, in case you got to go back to PTA
and
meeting.
Yes, and we got to do our part. One more. I'm gonna put it in the middle. We don't have to, but let's say that you're a biscuit eater, and we're gonna put an extra one on there.
Definitely a biscuit eater.
There you go. Bam! It's ready to go in. That's ready.
We're going to put this casserole in the oven on 350 for 20 minutes, and we'll be right back. We're back, folks, and Jerry is here ready to take out her fabulous recipe and share it with all of us. Let's get it out of there.
All right, it's time. Okay.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
Yum, yum.
Beautiful.
Okay, now that took about 20 minutes, and let me explain to you, it depends on what kind of biscuits you use as to how long it needs to stay, because remember, the casserole is already done.
Absolutely.
So, if you're going to roll out from scratch, how long it takes your biscuits to get done, that's how long you leave it. So frozen biscuit, it would take about 15 or 20 minutes. And you can always split your frozen biscuits in half, and it won't take as long.
Looks great. You want to bring it to this plate and let's test drive it and see how wonderful it is. This is local flavor, folks, at its best right here.
And it is good and hot. You want the whole biscuit or half a biscuit?
I can eat about everything you put in front of me.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to do a whole one on this right here, just for...
Amen, dig in.
All right, it's good and done.
That cheese is bubbling, and that smells wonderful.
Did I tell you what's really great to serve with this?
No, tell me.
Coleslaw. Do you like coleslaw?
Oh, that's right, Jerry, I forgot.
You got to have coleslaw, and you got to have a little peach on the side. We were...
Next week, we'll
family.
Be sure it's all here.
We had to have a peach on the side.
Well, I think it's great. Let's try it.
Let's try it. See, now that's really, really hot.
You think it's hot?
It's hot.
Well, I see it smoking. So I'm going to try a little of that biscuit right with it.
You remember we put a little cornmeal on this, kind of give it kind of a cornbread taste there?
It's going to be sparklicious.
It's hot. Now, you're good with hot food? All right.
Yes, I am. Let's wait just a minute and let it cool off.
That is hot.
Smells good. My mouth is dying, saying, get up in here, hurry.
I'm going to let you holler burning. It's burned, then I'll try mine. It's a filling meal. It has everything you need in one spoonful.
It's not that hot.
It's not that hot?
You can eat it. It's ready. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Folks, this is definitely a local flavor you're going to want to savor.
One more. I missed my biscuit part. I need
There you go. Did y'all get that recipe down?
Good.
If you didn't, you check back with us, send us a note, and we'll mail you the recipe.
Yes, we will.
This is fabulous. Thank you so much.
Right from Grandmama's kitchen.
Join us next time for another episode of Local Flavor.